Alright, turn 7. I think this is turn 7. I'm pretty sure this is turn 7. I didn't find any magic sites. There was a battle in Eric's and a battle in Boar Woods. Let's see how they've gone. I actually have not looked at the turn yet. I think this one went fine, frankly. My mixed cavalry infantry force is going to be more than enough to take this on. Yeah, the Knights of the Chalice rushed on in. Got a little bit of hitting done. Drove the enemy infantry off. Having elite heavy cavalry is just such a huge advantage in the early game. So, we lost one crossbowman and one swordsman, wiping them out. And in Boar Woods... Now, this was the one that was a little bit risky. Because they have... Ooh, yeah. They have a big old pile of barbarians. And unfortunately, placement is kind of bad. Now, the good thing about barbarians is their leaders tend to be up front. So, if you can get the barbarian chiefs... then the whole force collapses. So we're meeting in the middle. The mercenaries are about to go down. Cavalry charge in. Looks like we got the chiefs. Yep, okay, so they ran. Excellent. Took more casualties there, but it was entirely mercenaries, which is fine. So we won both engagements, which is excellent. And that is Abyssia. Don't like that one tiny little bit. Abyssia can fuck off and die as far as I'm concerned. Okay, we've got Zemiki down here. We need 600 gold to build a palisade, which we're not going to get as long as we're recruiting witch hunters for one thing. We can save quite a bit of gold by doing that. That gets me up to 430. How much do I have to sacrifice? I have to sacrifice a lot, but... it's turn 7. It's about time to start building another fort. So let's start building a palisade down here. These... that province I can probably take. That province probably not, since it contains knights. And knights will be able to fight my Knights of the Chalice on relatively even grounds. So let's go down here. Let's pop some province defense in. That reminds me, I've been forgetting to put in province defense. Ooh. Not a good look. We're going to blow a whole bunch of money putting in PD. And recruit... yeah, one Knight of the Chalice. And then let's go... one Man-at-Arms. Okay, now. Give these armies to... nope, stop that. Take those 4. Yeah, give them to them. So you two go in against the Amazons. Might run into these Abyssian infantry. If we do, that'll be a problem, but I'm hoping we can just overwhelm the place. I also need this little army. And you need to... what was that? Didn't I save my script? Apparently not. So blessing... blessing, cast spells. We're going to save that as 2. You guys can hold an attack rear, actually. And no, not you. I need you. Boink. And the crossbows can kind of be on the flank, and they can fire at enemy archers. This force should go... clearing out those lion tribe would be a pretty good idea. So why don't we just have Urban patrol for one turn while we get a few more light infantry for him. Cancel that commander, I need the cash. Yeah, because I can do that, or I can actually get 2 Knights of the Chalice, which will be better. And then next turn we can have Urban and Nevalon here will move over that way. Can't reach that in one turn. So Nevalon and Urban will go to take out these lion tribe next turn. Great, I think that'll be fine. Get Defrock down here to search, and that will be turn 7. See y'all in turn 8. Okay, it's the next turn. I think it's turn 8. I want to say it's turn 8 or 9. I don't remember right at the moment. But I started this up while looking at this screen before checking anything else, because I noticed that we have a fight with Abyssia in Glistening Dew Forest. I suspected they might do this. Let's look at that first, actually. So first, Abyssia attacked Glistening Dew Forest, and they've got their Abyssian infantry. They've got an Anathemant Salamander wearing an enchanted ringmail. And they have a Salamander. Salamanders have this AoE armor-piercing fire flare attack, which is pretty neat. However, other than that, they're not impressive. They're undisciplined. They do have firepower and a heat aura and all that stuff that Abyssinians have, but being undisciplined and relatively squishy is a little bit of a problem for them, especially because they're expensive. So the Abyssinians charged in to fight the ladies here, and the Salamander was actually misscripted, so it went in first before anything. Killed 1 square worth of the enemy and then ran because it has garbage morale. Meanwhile, the Abyssinian infantry with their flails did an excellent job beating the crap out of these Jade Maidens. With their double attacks, high damage, and the heat aura, it makes it very, very hard to fight Abyssinian infantry effectively. They're expensive is the only problem with them. So the Abyssinian infantry got through there. The enemy mage is throwing fireballs, flame bolts, and fire darts and all that stuff, and the Abyssinians won. But their Salamander routed. Then my army went into the Glistening Dew Forest. We've got our Macemen up there, and then we have our Knights, our pack of Knights down south. So the Abyssinians are holding and attacking, so they charged forward, except a couple of them kind of got stuck down there. The Knights actually went in to attack the enemy as opposed to attacking a rear, which is unfortunate. They did okay, but not great. They did massacre the Abyssinian infantry, but it looks like we took a couple of casualties. And a couple people got set on fire. Yeah, he burned to death. Really unfortunate. So we lost 2 of our Knights of the Chalice. And then in Villia, what happened in Villia? This is our slightly more mixed army. Basic independent infantry. Crossbowmen got a couple kills right at the start. Then the Knights went in, massacred all of them. The heavy infantry unfortunately got all the way around. And luckily they routed just at the moment they reached the crossbowmen. Okay, great. And the Black Fists have left us and will retire from the mercenary life. Okay. Great, that's fine with me, man. That is fine by me. Let's put him right in the middle back here. Yeah. Okay, so we've taken Glistening Dew Forest, which is fantastic. We need to fort the hell out of this place because we need Jade Sorceresses, like, now. We must have them. Start building a palisade. Nevalon... and crank the province defense up here. Okay, you go up there. You can go over there. You guys will hold an attack. Hold and fire closest, actually, so you can throw your javelins, since you've got javelins. Javelins are really valuable. And you, sir, your blessing, hold an attack for your fire archers. Yeah, that'll be fine. So you should clear out those Lion Tribe with no problem. Down here, we're getting 2 initiates this turn. Could I swap an initiate for a witch hunter? Nah, we'll just keep 2 initiates. I would like an architect as well. I don't know why an architect costs 52 resources, considering he doesn't actually have any armor whatsoever or anything. Like, I guess it's his tools or something? But I would definitely like to be able to build a citadel here. So what I'm going to do here is, I'm actually going to swap out 1 initiate for him. For a maison. We're building a palisade down here. We've got 3 turns left. That's fine. You can search for magic sites. You've taken that. That is Phlegra. Let's get that done. You move up there. That's Forest Trolls. See if you can take that province. I feel like you might be able to take it. Let's see if you can. Ooh, okay, that's good. That's really good. We've got Pythium, we've got Abyssia, and we've got Phlegra. So I need to start doing some diplomacy, like, right now. I have not done much diplomacy yet in this game, and that will get me killed if I keep it up. I also need to take this province, because that's actually a pretty good province. Especially as the palisade gets done here in Zemiki, I need to take that province. But yeah, we're honestly doing okay. It's turn 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 provinces, turn 8. Should have 11, turn 9. That's fine. My expansion is not going terribly. And we've secured an independent mage, which is vital. Vital for our continued success. Jade Sorceresses will add an incredible proportionate amount of diversity to our nation, since otherwise our nation is entirely fire and astral magic. And that will really, really help out a lot. So, great. Everything's going well. Let's just hope it keeps up. Cross your fingers, knock on wood. We're going to get a guy over here from somewhere. Barbarian Chief, I don't have the money for it. That's fine. Everything's fine. Everything is going to code. We'll hit Conjuration level 2. next turn, which won't help us, but Conjuration level 3 will. Conjuration level 3, our mages will actually be able to accomplish things in battle, and we'll be able to send our large numbers of fire gems out to summon fire elementals at people who displease us. Now, obviously, this won't help us against Abyssia, but it will help a lot against Phlegra, and it will help against Pythium if we get into a war there. So we should be fine. So, whew, all went better than expected. So thanks for watching, and I will see you all in turn 9. Alright, folks, so it's turn 9. If we look at our messages, message from Pythium. Pythium's player has been subbed out, at least temporarily, for the next week or so. I'm actually going to have to get a substitute for pretty soon here, too, and I'll talk about that in just a minute here. We've hit Conjuration level 2. Conjuration level 3 is coming. We found our first magic site, the Moonlit Halls, which gives us another Astral Pearl per turn. That's nice. It's the House of Just Fires, or possibly Fiery Justice. It's really hard to tell, because here it's the House of Fiery Justice, but here it's the House of Just Fires. Make up your mind, Elwinter. In any case, only gives us 4 fire and 1 astral, so it's nice to have some other kinds of gems. 2 battles. First of all, the battle in Grain Gate, where we were attacking the Knight Province. And it went surprisingly well. The Knights pretty much cleaved their way through our infantry, but with my crossbow's support, we were able to pretty much finish off the enemy Knights, and while all of my infantry routed, my crossbows and Genie Adams carried the day. So if we look here, we can see the Knights of the Chalice killed more than they lost, so they traded well against the normal Knights. Despite having, I mean, basically they're just normal Knights, but slightly better. So, they did well. The crossbowmen got 4 critical kills, including a couple of these Knights. They lost all of their Knights and all of their well, they lost everybody because they all retreated. The Pikeneers, the Men-at-Arms, the Swordsmen, but, you know, they did their job, which was to absorb damage. Shockingly, my Flagellants survived. I'm as surprised as you are. Some of my units did retreat, unfortunately. And there was a battle in the Silver Wall, which was just us rolling over a whole bunch of Lion Tribe, and we took almost no casualties in the process. The Knights of the Chalice did most of the killing. We got extra money from Zemeki, and we got a little bit extra income in Boar Woods, which is fantastic. So, in terms of our position now, all 4 of these provinces down here are fantastic. Like, these 4 provinces are like the economic heartland of the Empire, which is a little bit scary, to be honest, because they're also right on my borders. Now, ideally, like, this province is a great one to have a fort in, because I can recruit heavy cavalry here. This province I can recruit knights and longbowmen in, so it would also be really nice to have a fort here, because I can recruit primarily for longbowmen. Now, the problem is resources are very skint here, so I wouldn't have many resources, so recruiting knights is just not going to happen. But by building a fort here, I could allow myself to recruit longbows. Now, since I already have cheap recruitable crossbows, longbows aren't nearly as valuable to me as they would be to a lot of other nations, because crossbows do as much damage as longbows or more under normal circumstances. Now, if I can cast flaming arrows benefits longbows more than crossbows because they fire twice as often. And so having the extra 8 AP fire damage hit really, really does help them. So having them would be nice, but it's not a huge worry. I am going to start just recruiting whatever I can of them right now. The knights are not really going to be seen. I'm going to be relying on my own cavalry, on the Knights of the Chalice and the Royal Guard instead. Speaking of which, my cavalry recruitment is pretty much maxed out, and then I've got a bunch of crossbows in support that I'm recruiting. And I will send them out, so next turn I'll send another gang out under Clarun and he'll clean up these 2 provinces here, because that province, Farah, very high income actually, so I definitely want to take that soon. So 1 more turn to recruit, boom, bang. That will be the plan there. That'll finish up my cap circle finally, albeit that's only a tiny, tiny increase. And then I'll take that province and then head out in this direction. Now, geopolitically, the situation is very interesting and somewhat fraught, because that's Abyssia. So Abyssia is 2 steps from my border, which is fine. That's Pythium. It's only 1 step from my border. That's Phlegra. It's only 1 step from my border. And that's Relay, and it is only 1 step from my border. So, a little bit of a dangerous situation, to be honest. I really need to secure peace. I believe I've secured peace with Pythium. I believe I've secured peace with Phlegra. Haven't had any contact with Relay since I just ran into him this turn. Then up here, that's Cetis. And then Uruk is going to be over here somewhere. So this is striking me as another small map, frankly. Much like the original Accidental Ascension, I didn't quite really take notice of that. But now that I see it, it's being borne in upon me that this is a small map for the number of people that are playing on it. If we look at the nation overview, Pretenders of the World, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 players, and 15 Ascension points. And if we look at where's game settings, doesn't tell me the size of the map. In any case, the map is a little bit small, so we're a bit squeezed in. Now, fortunately, my expansion has actually been pretty decent. It's turn 9, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 provinces, so I'm doing okay. Not perfect, not fantastic, but okay, tolerable. This army, Jeannie Adams' army, is basically worn out, so she's actually just gonna chill out here for a second, and I may need to send Claren's troops to support her. Our palisade here will be done in 2 months. We're also building a lab, and DeFranc will get a temple built down here as well. And it should be good, should help. I need to start recruiting Grand Masters, is what I kind of need to do, but I really don't have the cash for that. Without canceling some of my recruitment, which I don't want to do either. Actually, I could, if I canceled knight recruitment, I could get a Grand Master and still have some money left. Nah. We're going to go at least one more turn churning out knights, and then we'll see what we can see. I was singing Panic at the Disco very loudly earlier. I think I may have damaged my throat slightly. Alas. I can't hit Brendan Urie's notes. So, not all of them anyway. So, yeah, Jeannie Adams is going to hang out. Now, up here I'm doing something risky. And that's because I looked at this province, Norfangs, and I went, I want it. I want this province so badly. It's got a ton of resources. A ton of resources. And given that it has a ton of resources, and also given that my cavalry are not actually, I don't believe they're capital only. Because they don't, I mean, they're not capital only. So I want to have this province, Norfangs. I want to have that and then these 2 provinces, ideally. I might not be able to get that one. I might have to let Albizia keep that one, but I can definitely claim that one if I get this one. So I'm moving this army, and this is a risky gamble. I do have the Knights of the Chalice, and they will be a potent force. They're only backed up by Indie Light Infantry, who are basically there to throw their javelins, which is fine. And then they've got the crossbows backing them up. These barbarians should be able to cut through them pretty quickly. I don't anticipate that being a problem. What I don't know is I don't know what Uruk or Cetis are going to send. And so we're going to probably, I would anticipate we're going to have a bump in Norfangs, and it might get ugly. So we'll see what happens there. But I really do want that province. If I can get that province, then my borders will be extremely secure, because that's 3 steps out from my capital. If I can push out that far, I'll be doing good. I'll be in good shape. And then, like I said, I can take that. I can take these. I might not have that, but that's okay. Worst comes to worst, I can go to war with Uruk early and try to overwhelm Uruk with fire elementals and such. Now, of course, there is the serious problem that that my one trick, fire magic, is counterable by anybody with water magic. And oh look, what is it that that Uruk has? Yeah, that's right, water magic. Uruk has water magic. Yeah. 25% of Ishibs can just cast rain out of the box, and rain completely screws fire mages. So I'll definitely have to have a secondary plan. Conjuration level 3 for lesser fire elementals is of course my first plan. And Power of the Spheres. Power of the Spheres is a fantastic buff. I already have Thaumaturgy level 1, so I can already Communion. I will definitely need to ratchet up to Thaumaturgy level 2 as quickly as I can to get Mind Burn, so that my mages have a non-fire thing they can do. And then I'll also want Enchantment 4 early on for Flaming Arrows and Anti-Magic. Beyond that, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. It really is, just because my magical variety is so limited. Now, Alteration level 5 gives me Incinerate, which is actually a pretty good attack spell. It's not, I was about to say fantastic. It's not fantastic. It's a pretty good single target attack spell. It does a lot of armor negating damage. Unfortunately, it only hits one person, and it has somewhat limited range. But, I mean, I'll take what I can get. Also, Thaumaturgy level 2 to for Mind Burn will give me Bonds of Fire, which lets me effectively shackle people, which would be fantastic. And then at level 4, I get Prison of Fire, as well as Paralyze. So definitely going to be going down Thaumaturgy. But I need Conjuration 3, and then I need Conjuration 5 as well pretty soon. And it's kind of a choice of whether I want Conjuration 5 or Enchantment 4 for my early combat. I'm thinking I want to hit Conjuration 5 as quickly as possible, because even a few full-size fire elementals are very useful. Now, of course, the problem with that is, under Rain, Fire Elemental is a spell that costs 200 fatigue. I mean, I'm not exaggerating when I say that any nation with water magic can just straight up shut fire magic down. It is a huge problem, and it's one reason why fire magic sucks. I mean, not to put too fine a point on it, but fire magic is bad. Like, in general, it's not as good, not as strong, not as flexible, not as useful as most other schools of magic, and that is a big part of why. Water magic in particular, but also some other schools, have spells that just totally screw over fire magic. For example, if I recall correctly, Storm and Blood Rain both have the rain effect. So that's water, air, and blood that all have a spell that just doubles fatigue for fire spells, period, immediately. Also, fire resistance spells are fairly easy to cast, and a couple of different paths have them. Fire has them, water has them, I believe Earth has them as well. And it's just a real problem. And of course, just fire magic spells in general are not outstandingly good. They're not. Some of them are okay. Some of them are pretty decent. Phoenix Pyre and Flaming Arrows are both actually very good spells. And so those are like Phoenix Pyre, Flaming Arrows, and Summon Fire Elementals. That's what fire does. That's about it. Everything else that fire has going for it either comes way too late in the research trees for how good it is, or just never comes. I do have the spell Holy Pyre, which is a pretty good anti-undead spell. That's pretty fantastic. Normally you have to forge an item that can cast that. It's not a spell that people natively have. But like at level 8, fire gets Pillar of Fire. Okay? Pillar of Fire is a good damage spell, don't get me wrong. But it's like, in my opinion, Pillar of Fire is about as good as Thunderstrike in a somewhat different way. It has a different use. Pillar of Fire's main use is the large area heat shock that does a ton of armor negating fatigue damage. That stacks up pretty quick. So Pillar of Fire is good at disabling armies. And it does high damage to a single square, but only armor piercing, not armor negating. So actually, against most targets, especially late game targets with buffs, it ends up doing less damage than Thunderstrike. And it's 3 levels of research higher. I'm sorry, 4 levels of research higher. It costs less fatigue, but it's just not. And like Thunderstrike can stun people and does actual damage in an area of effect, which Pillar of Fire doesn't. The comparison makes me so sad because it's not like Pillar of Fire is worse than Thunderstrike. It's just that it's about as good and 3 levels of research higher. And when I say about as good, I am counting the fact that it's much more spammable because it's lower fatigue costs. Oh, wait, anybody with water magic or air magic just doubles the fatigue of this spell pretty much automatically. Like, if you're fighting a nation that has a lot of fire magic, you cast Rain. There's no reason not to. It costs 1 water gem. Who cares? So, not to put too fine a point on it, but fire magic kind of sucks. And the fact that Marignan has to rely so heavily on it is a serious, almost crippling national problem. So that's why I focused so hard on taking these ladies, because these ladies can do magic that isn't fire, and will give me a critical increase in magic diversity. I can also get, can't I get nature mages? Yeah, I can also get wolf tribe shamans, which could potentially get me a little bit of death as well as nature. So I am going to have to I am going to want to pop down some infrastructure here and start recruiting them. Or I could get Lion Tribe. Earth, Death, or more Nature. Yeah, actually, Lion Tribe Witch Doctors would be the thing to do. Let me put a lab over there and churn out a few of them. Because Wolf Tribe Shamans are sacred, so they take a temple as well. Yeah, I'm going to get some Lion Tribe in a few turns here. Just build a lab and a fort and start churning them out. But only after I've gotten my fort settled and possibly a second fort started. And of course, I will want to start a fort here. In any case, that's turn 9. Now, as I said before, I am going to need a sub, and that's because by the time you see this, I will either have gone or will probably I'll actually be back from PAX West. So there's going to be a sub for like a week. Probably a few turns. I'm not sure exactly how many turns are going to proc during that time, but basically I'm leaving on Thursday and I'm coming back on Wednesday. So there'll be pretty much a solid week in there where I'm not going to be able to play turns. So this game, I'm playing Mandala currently, and I'm playing, what's the other one? I'm not recording my third Dominions 5 game. In any case, I'm working to build up a little bit of a backlog of videos, so there should be some videos during that week. I'll put out a video about all this, but in any case, I'm trying to set myself up so that my sub doesn't really have to do much by way of complicated diplomacy or anything. I'm going to be able to get 1, possibly 2 more turns in before I leave, and so I'm hoping to pretty much set my borders and decide who I'm going to war with. Right now, it looks like I'm probably going to be fighting Uruk first, but I'm hoping that doesn't happen until like turn 20. Like turn 20 I feel like would probably be a good time to start going to a war, but I desperately need at least 1 or 2 more forts before then. So basically I want to take Norfangs and start building a fort there, and so I'm actually going to have Gilney stay there for now. In any case, that's turn 9, and I'll see you all in turn 10.